Tanzania office, and I work as a youth program coordinator and the inclusive education technical coordinator. A huge and warm welcome to you in this session of today. And for those who are joining us for the first time, this is a series of ongoing online advocacy knowledge exchange session, which is run by YDAR Network and YDAR Project, involving partnership of various organizations, including ADD International, Bonamous University, American University, and the other actors. I welcome you all, and for those who cannot see me, I am a bit fat, a bit black, and short, and I would like to inform you that we have some accessibility support, especially the live captioning for those who have a hearing impairment. And I would like to request you all to mute your microphone, especially when it's not your turn to speak. And for the presenters, please make sure when you introduce yourself, you remember to introduce how you look, especially for those who have a visual impairment. And don't forget to introduce yourself in the chat box, your name and where you are following up from. And also put your comment and question in the chat box, and we will come to it during respective time. We have a number of presenters today, and our topic is participatory grant making and advocacy by young activists with disability. In this topic, you'll get to know and learn on short introduction of participatory grant making, how it can be done, and you'll have some practical experience from Tanzania where we are piloting this. You'll get to hear from young women with disabilities who were the winner and those who received a microgrant from this project. And you will have a number of presenters. One of them is Vanessa Heringshaw. She is a head of participatory grant making and movement support at ADD International. She has strongly worked to establish the grant making, and she led this for the targeting the global south and to support strong collaboration and movement buildings. And we have grantees. One of them is Eva Joseph Mastanilo, a young woman with visual impairment, a graduate from University of Dar es Salaam. In her life, she has experienced the different challenges against persons with disability, and one among them is negative attitude and perceptions against persons with disability. This pushed her to come out with an initiative for raising awareness and addressing negative attitude and stigma targeting persons with disability. Together with her, we have a group of young women with disability based in Zanzibar, where we'll have two representatives from this group. Fakhat Omar Abubakar, who is a young woman with disability, specifically intellectual disability and physical disability. Since she was a kid, she experienced a number of difficulties, including learning difficulties, but she did not give up. She worked hard and completed her IT certificate, and she's currently volunteering as an IT assistant with the Zanzibar Association of Women with Disability. And her colleague is Yumna Manga Omari, a young disability advocate with albinism, who is having unique skills, which has brought a number of impact in Zanzibar. She's also director of Watoto International Film Festival in Zanzibar. She's a teacher by professional, and she's the chairperson of All About Albinism campaign. Together with these two grantees, we have one more presenter who is Gertrude Guarasa, a representative from the Youth Grant Task Team. She's a woman with short stature, a social worker by professional, and she's having an ambition of establishing an association of people with short stature in Tanzania to demand and fight for the right of people with short stature. Thank you for listening, and at this time, I'll welcome our first presenter, Vanessa Heringshaw.
Thank you very much, Eleneka. Welcome again to you all. It's my joy to be on this platform with so many dynamic, talented disability activists. Just so exciting. So thank you very much for that honor. So My name is Vanessa Herringshaw. I'm the head of participatory grant making and movement support here at ADD International. For anyone, excuse me, who doesn't know, ADD International is an international organization. Our mission is to support disability justice movements in Africa and Asia, and grant making or moving money to the organizations of persons with disabilities so that they can fund their own fight for their own rights is really core to what we do. I'm a middle-aged white woman with grey blonde hair tied up. I'm wearing glasses and a quite bright turquoise sweater, and I'm sitting in Manchester in the north of the UK. I'm going to use some slides, so if you just bear with me, I'm just going to load them up for you now. But I'm going to be talking through them and presenting them, so everyone should have full access as we go. Just bear with me while I get the technology to cooperate, which is always an interesting moment. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to present very briefly about participatory grant making, and then I'm going to use the illustration from Tanzania about how we actually did it and made it work in Tanzania. So, but before we do that, if you're watching this and you're from a donor organization or an international organization, I invite you to really reflect on how often do you really actively involve young activists with disabilities in your work, either playing key advocacy roles or in grant making. And we know that persons with disabilities are often actively excluded, but young activists with disabilities are even more excluded, and certainly in terms of being given control. So are you actively involving this group? And if you're not, what kind of effect might that have on the impacts that you can have if you're not reaching that particular group, on what priorities are getting chosen in the work that you do and you're not meeting their priorities? And are we squandering this amazing group of potential leaders, both for the future, the development of future young leaders, but also right now? These people are showing us what they can do when they're trusted with the funds, and it's pretty impressive stuff. So working with young persons with disabilities, if you're not, it's a good way to really check, are there still core discriminations and prejudices underlying that exclusion? And therefore, what you can do to shift that. Now, participatory grant making, a lot of words. What does it mean? It's really about shifting power. It's about putting decision-making control in the hands of the groups that should be benefiting. We know this is not how it's normally done. Normally, donors decide where the money goes, or international organizations, or even governments, but not the actual groups themselves that benefit. And that participation ideally is in everything in terms of the way the money flows. So at the first stage, when the design phase of really deciding how a fund should operate. And then when you get to the stage of actually deciding who gets the money, it's those beneficiaries that decide themselves, or people from that group. They decide who gets the money and how it's used. And then in the grant implementation phase, they have control over the way they spend the money. So in this example, we have young people who are helping us design the grant. We have young persons with disabilities who are making the grants, and we have young persons with disabilities who are running their own activities and using those grants. Now, that's in theory. What does it actually look like in Tanzania? So as Eleneka said, this is ongoing now, a collaboration between ADD's Young Leaders, ADD Tanzania, Bournemouth University, and the American University, and all of you who are involved in the Youth Disability Advocacy and Research Network. In terms of those stages I laid out, in this case, we brought together young people right from the beginning in terms of designing the fund, saying what it should look like to help them meet their priorities and for them to participate. We launched the fund at the Youth Disability Advocacy Festival in Dar es Salaam in April this year. So this was a bringing together of young disability activists from Tanzania, but also from Uganda, together with other people involved in the sphere. So media people, research people, activists, all networking together. And we kicked it off with joint discussions of the young persons together so that they could meet each other and they could discuss what their priorities are for bringing change for young persons with disabilities in their countries. And that's part of that initial movement building. And next, we wanted to actually select the people who would choose the grant, who gets the money. So young people at the festival were invited. They could either offer themselves for election to the grant panel, or they could actually apply for funding. Those who applied to be part of the grant panel, they gave a small presentation of who they were and what kind of things they were interested to the rest of the young people together. And then the whole peer group elected the grant making panel. So this is peer selection of who's going to allocate the funds. The grant panel was made up of 5 members, 4 young women with disabilities, 1 young man with disabilities, and with a range of different profiles so that we could get different views involved in that panel. And I should emphasize, people took that election process very seriously, and we ended up with a very dynamic, effective panel. So then the others who'd been invited to make grant applications could do so. And we tried to make that as user-centered as possible. So people could apply in whatever language they wanted. They could apply in video, in writing, as a recording. And there was also support available for them to do that. Then the grant panel met and we introduced them to their roles and also discussed issues like how to deal with bias, the importance of safeguarding, and so on, to prepare them. And then they themselves selected the criteria they would use for how to choose the successful grantees. And they went through a deep process of reviewing all the applications, rating them, discussing the ratings, and finally making their selection of the grantees. So that's the decision-making control being with the young people in the grant panel. And then the advocacy actors that you're going to hear from as well, they were given the money and the control over their projects. They chose their own priorities, they designed their own interventions with support available in response to what they needed. There's also mentorship support available and being provided by ADD, by Bournemouth University, by American University, and other fantastic external mentors who've been offering their support. And we're continuing to try to build this linkage and movement. So it's not just about separate individual grants. It's about trying to connect young people with disabilities together, because we know that that collaborative action and collaborative strength is necessary really to bring effective and long-term change. For anyone who's not been involved in the process or is not from the disability movement, it's really unusual for disability activists, especially young disability activists, to get this kind of access to funds and this kind of control. And I just wanted to read this quote from one of the grantee group in Zanzibar. When we received the news that we were among the winners, we were more than happy. This shows us that there are people who trust young persons with disabilities, and they provided us with our opportunity not only to show our capabilities, but to manage our work and our funding. And that trust is really at the heart of what we're talking about here. It's not people making decisions on behalf of persons with disabilities and young people with disabilities. It's about supporting them to do it themselves. So it's an ongoing process. There's still lots of learning coming out. But in case you haven't noticed, one of the big learnings is just how big the gap is in terms of support for young activists with disabilities. We need to do a lot more. When you trust young activists with disabilities to make the decisions, they do a great job. They are incredibly effective. They came together well, they made good decisions, and now the projects that they're implementing are looking extremely fruitful. If you are going to run a process like this, and I would encourage you to do so, make sure everything is very user-centered. If you've been giving grants before, it's likely you might need to change your systems. You need to, as I say, make things as light as possible for the users, change the language, make the due diligence light, make the contracting light, make the reporting light. It's about supporting them for what they need and not what the donor needs. Build in a lot of flexibility. Things constantly change. People's lives are complex. You need to build in time and responsiveness when things don't go the way you envisaged them originally. And because these people come up with great new ideas, and you need to be able to respond to those. As I say, focus on movements as much as individual organizations, and try to invest in bolstering that collaborative, collective strength. And lastly, if you do want to do more work for persons with disabilities, especially youth with disabilities and women with disabilities, we would love to hear from you. Please do get in contact, and we can see what we can do together. I'm going to put a link to a longer case study about the toolkit in the chat box, and this is my contact email. But as I say, thank you very much for this opportunity to connect to you all, and please do be in touch. Back to Ellen Acker.
A huge clap to you, Vanessa. Thank you for sharing with us the introduction and the experience from the Tanzania pilot. I just got some key message from your presentation where PGM is shifting power and providing decision-making decision to people or group that should benefit. And for this session, it's specifically young people with disability. At this moment, let me welcome Gertrude Guarasa, who was among the Youth Grant Task Team, where she can share how the process was and how does it feel for a young person with disability to decide about funding and what to do with the fund. Welcome, Gertrude.
Thank you so much for having such kind of opportunity. My name is Gertrude Matthew Guarasa, a person with so short stature. I was among young grant team maker. We used some criteria to have those project winners, those 2 project winners. I can mention some few criteria or some criteria we used to got those winners. One of them was, is it priority for person with disability? Is the campaign look clear, practical, and feasible? Is the budget clear, good use of fund, and well aligned to activities? The idea and result is sustainable. Will it make good use of the support from BU and ADD? These are criteria we used to choose or to go with. Then after that, we divided ourselves into 2 groups. Then after that, we discussed those scores up to get those 2 winners. So, involving people with disabilities in selecting projects and decide where money to be used in those projects, it is good, whereas most people with disability face many challenges. For instance, in employment opportunities, absence of assistive technologies, no proper use of sign language, and so many other challenges. transport challenges, and so forth. So, involving people with disabilities in selecting which project to be used and which man and how this man should be used so as to implement those projects or to make effective use of those projects was very good, and this should be a good example from other institutions or other people who need to help people with disabilities in implementing some other issues. Then I have developed some skills through this work of grant team, to be through this involved in youth grant team. As one of them is team working. In each thing, in achieving things, if it is given to work as a team, if it is given to work for more than one person, so that in order to achieve that issue, in order to achieve that thing, there should be teamwork. Everyone should work effectively so as to achieve, also as to get a good result. So we worked well as a team to get those project winners. We cooperated well, I with my other members of youth grant team. I would like to advise my audience that I would like to advise you members that it is very good or very important to support people with disabilities in terms of money, in terms of giving them some ideas to achieve their goals. So everyone should work on his or her own time, his or her own, to make sure that people with disabilities are supported in any how, so that to achieve their goals, so that to live happy life as other people with no kind of disability. Thank you so much for having this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Gertrude, for your presentation and the sharing the learnings you achieved by being among the members of the Youth Grant Task Team. And for this time, let me welcome one of the grantees, starting with Eva Joseph Masanilo. It's your time, Eva. Welcome. Please, can someone help Eva to unmute the mic?
Thank you, Madam Elimeka. My name is Eva Joseph Masanilo. I'm a person with visual impairment, and I'm a young disability advocate, and I'm the winner of the participatory grant. Okay, on our campaign, we are three, me and my fellow Joshua Chipande and Amini Oda, who is working as my personal assistant. And our campaign, our advocacy campaign, it is all about addressing negative attitudes toward people with disability, which are in our community. Most of people in our community believe that people with disability are cursed, are dependent, are beggars, they have no right to have family, also are the source of money. That's why in the past we experienced a lot of killings of people with albinism, because people believe that maybe some organs of people with albinism can be their source of success in economic activities and politics. That's why we decided to do this project. Okay. Beneficiary of our campaign includes parents of children with disabilities and teachers who are teaching in an inclusive education primary school. Also, we had people with disability, the ones of beneficiaries, also bus drivers and conductors in my local area. It is our beneficiary. Importance, okay. I'm not sharing the PowerPoint because my slide is in form of Braille, so I really apologize you for that. Okay, let us continue. Importance of our campaign. Our campaign is very important because we are going to reduce the mindset, negative mindsets toward people with disabilities, and we are going to reduce those negative perceptions and their effect to people with disabilities. And also through this project, we are going to raise awareness of people with disabilities toward their potentials, their rights and responsibilities, also their opportunities which are in their community. Also, our project or our campaign, it is a wake-up call to the government to create good infrastructures and conducive environment for people with disability to interact. Okay. Importance. Approach of our campaign. We have 4 approaches. A first approach is creating of music song. On this approach, we are going to create 2 music songs which are in form of audio. Firstly, because most of people learn through listening, and we decided to use this approach, music song, because everyone like music, and most of people they listen music for enjoyment, also for learning. So our music song will be in form of audio and video for those who can learn through visualizing. The songs will educate people on different issues regarding people with disability. For example, the first song, I wanted to educate the community to stop to call bad names to people with disability, to use their name and stop using bad names to mention a certain kind of disability. For example, maybe a kind of disability, maybe physical impairment. I need the community to stop to call bad names like lame. So it is the first song. The next, I was educating the community to change their mindset about people with disability, and I was telling them to know what people with disability can do. We can do a lot of things. So it is our first approach. The next approach, it is conducting community events. On this approach, we are going to talk with bus drivers and conductors through their associations to tell them about people with disability, because they are the ones who are rejecting people with disability when they want to enter the bus. They reject them because they think that maybe people with disability cannot afford for the cost. So we need to educate them through this approach. Another approach, we are going to conduct a meeting with parents of children with disabilities, as school teachers, and school teachers also. On this meeting, we are going to educate parents and those teachers about the people with disability, because they are the ones who can be good teachers on their community. Also on the meeting, we will give chance to children with disability to show their talents, because children with disability also, they can do a lot of things. There are the singers, football players, and so forth. So we are going to give them to show their talents. Through this, people will learn about different things concerning people with disability. Another approach, we are going to use mass media. We are going to use mass media like radio, television, and digital platforms like social media, so as to send our message to the community about people with disability. Okay. Achievement and changes of our campaign. We have achieved to create 2 songs, as I said, which is trying to educate the community, and it is in form of audio. So we are waiting for the time to shoot the video, so we'll proceed. Also, we are proceeding with mass media, and we have a session on Mtawala Radio. It is an online radio. We are talking with people concerning our issues. Okay, changes that I see through this project in my area where I live, people are increasing cooperating with me, not regardless my impairments. Also, the people who are working in the studio, like music producers, also have told me that they are changing from one perception to another. Also, through mass media on radio session, people are sending the message that they have learned something from people regarding people with disabilities. So we see changes. Okay. Challenges and support needed. We are working by using a very small budget, so we are experiencing a financial problem. That's why we are working on a very small area at the Dar es Salaam city, but the problem which we are dealing with, it is all over the country. Negative perceptions are in rural area and in urban. So we need to go there. We need to send our message there, but our budget is not supportive. So we need financial support, more financial support. We really thank ADD International and BU for the grants that we had for this project, but we request for more assistance. We request for more financial support from BU, ADD International, and other international organizations which are dealing with disabilities issues, because we need to go far. We need our project to be sustainable. Yeah. Okay. What next? We are, as I said, we are proceeding with mass media. So after finishing this, we will continue with the community events and community meeting and shooting the video for those 2 music songs. Okay. Okay. Our ambition, we need to see changes. We need to cater the gap between people with disability and people who have no disabilities, which are in our community. We need to see changes. We need to see people with disabilities remain with their impairment only. The challenge of disability because of poor infrastructures, which are which allow them to interact, to participate in different activities. We need to see changes on that angle. We need to see people with disabilities remain with their impairment only. If a person is had maybe visual impairment, we cannot remove it. We need to see him or her continue with her impairment, but the issue of disability, the issue of poor infrastructures or poor environments because of negative perceptions, negative attitudes toward them. We need to see changes. Thank you for your attention.
Wow, that was so good. Thank you very much, Eva, for your good presentation. And as she mentioned, she's using a number of approaches, and one of the approaches is composing inclusive song. And I have pasted in the chat a link to one of her recent song, which is still being improved, especially looking for also a video to support this audio. So you can also follow her in the YouTube and listen to the song. And I will continue to another presenter who is Farhat, presenting the group based in Zanzibar. And for them, their project is mainly targeting the capacity building to young peer with disability, especially in digital advocacy. You are welcome, Farhat.
Hello guys. My name is Fakihat Omar Bakar, and I'm from Team Zanzibar. Today we will present our project, Digital Advocacy for young youth with disability. Next, the project aim is to empower and equip young individuals with disability in digital illiteracy and advocacy skills. Next, by foster the project is run by Yumna Manga, disability with albinism, Fakihat Omar, multiple disability, Yamila Borafia, visual impairment disability, and Zakia as assistant. Next, why it is important. The project will empower young people with disability by providing them with information, a platform to raise awareness and advocate for their rights and ensure their talent, and connect with individuals and organizations on a broader scale. Next. Approaches. So we had organized 2 days physical session, weekly virtual training, and media campaigns. Next, how far? Physical training. We basically managed to do our first social media platform training, which include 10 participants. Next, weekly virtual training. Weekly virtual training is still on a progress. Next, and media campaign is still on a progress. Next, achievements. So we have mentioned participation and engagement, skills and knowledge, and partnership. Next, key learning. Diverse perspective matter. Recognize the diversity of people with disability and of disability and uniqueness experiences and challenges faced by individuals within this group. So this matter is basically how has the project contribute to people with disability situation in Zanzibar and Tanzania as whole. Access to information. Digital advocacy project has provided people with disability access to information resources related to their specific needs. This can include information on available services and legal rights. Young youth empowerment. The project has empowered them with digital skills, self-advocacy tools, leadership opportunities. This can contribute to longer term well-being and independence. Next, well, what we actually need is financial support. The budget because the budget was not enough. Technical guidance. We need more expertise on disability issues and advocacy issues. Access. Last but not least, accessibility service like providing captioning videos. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Fakat. Thank you very much, Fakat. Fakat is one of the member in the youth group based in Zanzibar, is among the grantees of the participatory grant making beneficiaries based in Zanzibar. And as you hear, their project or their advocacy campaign target on capacity building to peer young person with disability, especially to enable them engage in the digital world, as they observe that there are a number of young persons with disability are lacking key skills to engage and interact in diverse platforms, so facing a number of challenges, including limited information in networking and also opportunity to learn through the available digital resources. And for now, I will welcome you all in case you have any comment or question, and if you have posted your comment or question in the chat box, I'll pass through it, and you are warmly welcome. The discussion is now open. Please raise your hand in case you want to contribute or share something, please. welcome, Barry, if I'm not mistaken. You'll introduce yourself. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. My name is Van Thon from Cambodia. I am a man from Asia, Southeast Asia. So my face look like Chinese. Okay, very good presentation and congratulate to both of presenter. I have some specific question. First, at the first presenter, Emmanuel, right? My question is that I want to learn more when all the young people is doing the project, what kind of challenge they face with their parent or family, because in our culture, they may want to see young people focus on education only, not other type of activity. So that's why I want to learn from the group. This is the question one.
Okay.
Questions two is I want to learn also about what they learn from the skill of managing the fund by themselves. So this is really important to hear where they keep the money and how they spend or something like that. Just in principle, not very too detailed. Or they face any problem or not. Yeah. Number three, regarding to the sustainability, whether the group willing to influence those who has power in finance their group further. For example, like the businessman, business owner, something, so that they can understand and see the capability and capacity of people with disability, and they willing to support more. Yeah. And my last question about to the group two in Zanzibar, because maybe I hear it wrongly, because I hear what she mentioned is that the budget is not enough. So I may be wrong about the comment in the presentation. So I want if she mentioned about budget is not enough, so how would that come? I want to get more explained. So again, congratulations to both groups. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. Panhab, you'll forgive me in case I pronounce it wrongly. We'll start with Eva's question. Eva, I'm just repeating the question for you, and the audience be informed that Eva Masanilo is using a computer named with Emmanuel. So she will be responding to question number one, which is what challenges you are facing from your parents or family due to your engagement in campaigns. And the question was only looking on the fact that maybe some of the parents will encourage you to be more in education and not campaigns. And the second question is, can you share with us the skills you have you have captured so far in managing the fund? Could be positive or negative. And the third one is on sustainability. Can you tell us if you are thinking of talking to or soliciting fund or gathering fund from other local business or private companies to support your projects? Welcome, Eva. I mean, you can also chip in to support Eva since we are working together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm starting with the first question. What challenge which I face during the campaign? The challenge, a big challenge, as I said, I'm dealing with negative perceptions. And one of the negative perception is people with disability are beggars. This is a big problem and challenge to me because people when hear talking about these negative perceptions, they continue to ask me. It is really that they are talking about the reality that some of people with impairments, they are in the streets for begging. So for me, it was a challenge, and that's why I decided to request for more financial support in future. In order to, I wanted to create or to register an organization which will deal with empowering people with disability who are in the street, who have not went to school, they are begging. I want to empower them by providing them or educating them, providing them entrepreneurship skills. And through that organization, which when I will get support, we will help them to get capital so as to establish their business, so as to increase their income. It is
Okay, Eva, just to chip in, I'm just narrating this question again, and in case you have any time at the end, you can clarify. The question was merely looking on whether you are facing any challenge from your family, parents or family members for you engaging in campaigns or in your advocacy work. But for now, you can just leave it and proceed with the other question. And if time will allow, I'll give you opportunity at the end to come back and share any challenge faced from the family member. As we know that sometimes persons with disability are facing some challenges from the family. Could be stigma, but also other challenge. The second question was, how are you managing the funding? What are the learnings so far?
okay. From my family is supporting me to continue with the project. Okay, on the second question, I have got some skills on managing finance from ADD International. Before starting the project, we attended a session. We have been educated on how to manage money for the project. Can you remind me the third question?
Yes, Eva. The third question was about sustainability. Are you planning or thinking on looking for local business person or any other private organization which can understand what you are doing and look for opportunity to support your campaign?
Because our campaign, due to our budget we have, it will end, I think, on February next year. So after finishing that, we want to, because we need our project to be sustainable, we will do that. And as I said, that we need to register, to be officially registered. So we will do that because now we are not officially registered. We are working with ADD International as the young with disability advocates. So I think so. We cannot go anywhere for asking for support. But in future we will do that. There is any question?
Thank you very much for your clarification, Eva. And just to add on what Eva said, among the, I can say among the conditions or the things we have done to support participatory grant making is also about the due diligence. We were so flexible, especially in hosting even young persons with disability who are not formally registered, meaning that some of the criteria were so loose to ensure that we can accommodate young advocates. Back to you, Zanzibar Group, we have one question for you, and the question was if the person who raised this question captured you well. You say that the budget is not enough. How are you planning to accomplish your project without funding if the funding is not enough? Yumna or Zakia or Faka, can you chip in on that, please?
Hello everyone, I am Yumna Manga Omar and the team leader representing our group in answering the question. And as Faki had said earlier, our program is about digital advocacy. And because we came to realize that it's a digital era, everything is found on digital platform, but yet many young people with disability are not found in those digital platforms. Hence, they don't get information or access to job opportunities to showcase their talent and things like that. So we realized that we have to empower them to understand and know and foster the digital skills so that they participate in and engage in the digital platform. As a result, we equipped them with digital skills, yet we came to realize that they lack disability advocacy in a whole, because we found out that those with visual impairment, they were just speaking on visual impairment, and those with hearing impairment, they were just speaking on hearing impairment, and they were not integrating the whole disabilities diverse. Them as advocates, they can stand for all people with disability. Hence, we decided to establish this virtual training that we equip them with disability skills, knowledge, and understanding, and integrate it in their digital advocacy. Hence, this came to be more to demand more funds, because for them to be able to participate in Zoom meeting, it needs data bundle, which majority cannot afford. And we also do have guest speakers, in which these guest speakers also, they need bundles, and also the interpreter, since Zoom does not support Swahili captioning. We have to hire an interpreter for interpreting what we speak for those with hearing impairment. So this was an extra cost that we did not thought of it earlier. That's why we said that lack of budget. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yumna. We have one more question from the chat box, and this question is from Timos Kisima. And the question goes to both groups, Eva and the Yumna group. And this question is, together with the limited budget or limited funding challenge, what are the other challenges have you faced as you continue with your project? I'm starting with Yumna, and then I'll get back to Eva. Yumna, are you ready to chip in, or I can start with Eva?
Eva, start with Eva.
Okay. You're welcome, Eva. Together with funding budget, what is the other challenge you have faced so far with your advocacy campaign?
Okay, thank you for a good question. Another challenge which I face in this campaign, it is lack of digital facilities. For example, for me, in order to manage my activities, I need maybe a Perkins Braille and computer. So I do everything, requesting my personal assistant to prepare documents. I'm just instructing him. So technological facilities is a problem to me, is a challenge. So if I will have a chance to get those facilities like computer, I think I will do well in my activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eva. That is very important. And as you have shared, I call for any supporter from anywhere. If you feel like you need to support the young people in any way, please do not hesitate to contact us and provide support according to how you can accommodate. Thank you. Any other question or comment from you, audience? You're welcome. Please raise your hand.
Madam Elenika.
Yes, yes, yes. And from you, I forgot the challenge. Please.
Yeah, I knew that you forgot. And about us, it's another challenge. It's about mentoring support. It's like we had 2-day physical training, and that it looks like it was not enough. Digital, it's huge and has a lot of things. It's like we gave them just a brief on digital skills, and that's one of the challenges. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. You just gave them like it's a starting menu, but not the real one. Welcome, Danny.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Dan. I'm from the UK. Got white skin, middle-aged, but hanging on to my health for as long as possible. So my question was for either of the presenters of the campaigns, but maybe Gertrude too. And I was going to ask about the participatory grant making in particular, and any reflections you had on that. So, for example, how does it feel different to be the recipient of a grant, albeit a small grant, right? But to be the recipient of the grant when the grantee is your colleague and your peer? Like, have you got comparative experience to be able to compare it when you've received funding for projects or for campaigns before? And yeah, did you have any reflections on, you know, the different dynamics that brings when the funder is somebody like you rather than somebody like me, if that makes sense? Yeah, that was my question.
Thank you, Danny. The question goes to any of the presenters, including Gertrude and Ness.
Madam Elenika, can you please read again the question? We didn't get to hear it so well.
Should I repeat it, Elenika?
Yes,
Yeah.
Danny, thank you very much.
So my question was to ask you or invite you to reflect on the participatory grant making aspect of this, these campaigns. So does it feel different to be the recipient of a grant when the funder or the grantee is your colleague and your peer, compared to you know, an institution or somebody more senior or whatever else? So does it feel different to be doing this campaign or to be receiving funding in this way compared to the other ways that you may have received funding in the past? And I guess I ask this question because I think, you know, I think it's amazing. Obviously, from Nessa's presentation at the start and Gertrude, I think it's an amazing funding model, and I really think it's got huge potential. But I'd be interested in what it feels like from the other side, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was my question.
Thank you, Danny, for clarification. Yumna and Eva, just to repeat in my own words as well, is like, how are you feeling receiving funds from your peer young person with disability as grant maker, as provider, compared to other approach or model where maybe the funder could be an international organization or any other funding organization which does not involve the group which will be benefiting or the group which is targeted? Welcome. Yes, Gertrude, and other grant tasks member, you are also here. You can also share your experience. How does it feel? You are deciding for project targeting your peer, young person with disability, compared to a situation where the decision could have been done by another group or grant or organization staff and things like that.
Madam Ellen.
Yes, we can hear you, Gertrude.
Can you please come again? I'm sorry for this.
Okay. Mswahili, kwa Kiswahili, mnajisikiaje? Mnaonaje? Kuna utofauti gani kupata fedha kupitia, kwa wale waliopata, kupitia majaji ambao ni wenzenu au kundi la watu wenzenu, vijana wenye ulemavu, tofauti na mifumo ya hapo awali au ya taasisi nyingine ambapo labda proposal na maandiko miradi yangeenda kwa labda majaji ambao sio vijana wenye ulemavu wapitie wafanye maamuzi, lakini kwa situation hii majaji ni vijana wenye ulemavu, kwa mpokea pesa kutoka kwa vijana wenye ulemavu, na pia kwa namna moja au nyingine wanahusika katika kufuatilia namna gani ambavyo fedha zinatumika.
Okay. This is a good opportunity for people with disabilities to get or to be judged by their fellow member with disabilities. Because through this, I think there is no biasness done compared to other people with no disability could judge them. This is what I have seen. Other people with no disability could be involved or could judge them in getting which project should win could be quite different compared to people with disability to be involved in choosing them. That I was standing there that if I make a mistake in judging them, if I won't be fair in judging them, I will lose this opportunity of helping my fellow people with disabilities in getting their rights, like getting a knowledge of being taught on how to use technologies, maybe on getting the rights, on getting friendly infrastructures in wherever they are employed, or in many other opportunities surround them. So I see it was good as people with disabilities to choose our fellow people with disability to get those projects to implement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Gertrude, for your clarification. We have some comments in the chat box where Brenda Bunabana from Uganda, she said that all I understand it is really not common to receive grants from peers, while Timos Kisima mentioned that it's good also. It shows that people with disabilities are capable of conducting their own stuff. I welcome comments also and the response from Eva and the how is the experience receiving funds from your peers or engaging peers in assessing your project and monitoring? You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Elenika. To us, it was really awesome because the grant, there were several methods where we can apply the grant. We it was through video. We can use Swahili or English in written form as we wish, and it's because it was from the people who know that the diversity of people with disability, and that there were no restrictions. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow, you mentioned it very clearly, Yumna. Thank you for raising this. This is among the flexibilities which we are having, where the proposals were received in any format. You can submit your proposal in audio, as a video, as a written, in English, in Swahili. That's the good and strong features of participatory grant making. Thank you very much. Eva, do you have? Yes, welcome, Eva.
Thank you, Madam. I want to add from Yumna and Gertrude ended. The whole process was very good because people with disability to be judged in the process, it was good because they know our challenges. They know. Also, it was a chance to show our ability on decision making, and also it was a chance to solve a real problems in our community. So that's why they selected the campaign, which it is real solving the problem facing people with disability in the community. So the whole process was very good.
Thank you very much, Eva. We also have a comment from Queenie Mnyazi. She said that this shows how much persons with disability care for each other. To her, this was really an action of no us without us. And Eva has raised also an important point that the peers who were judging them managed to choose the priority, the things which they believe that are the real challenges which are facing people with disability. For example, looking at the EVA campaign, a campaign which look on the negative stigma and perceptions which face almost all type of disability without looking a specific type of disability. So for them, it was a priority program or priority campaign which touched every person's life. Thank you very much. We have remained with some few minutes. In case you have any more comments or question, you have some few minutes, like 5 to 6 minutes. Yes, Rajab, you are welcome and we are happy to see you here.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you all, and good morning for anyone who is not afternoon. Yes, I would like to comment on what the presenters has been doing and what have they presented for us, and responding to the question from Mr. Dan. I will add on what others have responded. Of course, it feels courageous. It feels more empowered once you get a fund from the peers rather than those who are not your peer. Why? It's because of many things. First of all, they are your peers, and they actually they may experience, or they do experience, this situation the way you experience, because you share such kind of an age or such kind of a moment, and that's why they are your peers. But also, getting fund from them, it shows how much peers are able to help each other once they are given the chance to be to help each other, and they can take the front seat whenever a certain problem comes in regarding their peer. So that also become now a charge, become now a boost to the peers who are asking or seeking for the grant, which is going to be offered by their peer, and it gives more more encouragement and power to those who have access or who have got such kind of moment of observing and getting fun from those peers. So it's more courageous, it's more empowered, and it encourages more hardworking, more striving to accomplish the deal, because you will have a certain point to reflect. If our peers have given us this kind of fund, why can't we show them that they didn't make wrong judgment, or they didn't make wrong decision to give us? Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Rajab, for your informative contribution. And I also give this opportunity to Dekariswa Mari, who was also among the Youth Grant Task Team. She wanted to contribute regarding Danny's question. You're welcome, Dekariswa.
To respond to the Danny's question, I just want to say, youth may feel a sense of responsibility to provide supporting to our fellows with disability, and this can create an opportunity to build a positive partnership among us and the equitable community for all of us. On this, I just want to say.
Yeah,
Thank
Madam
you, Dekariswa. Yes, Rajab, you're welcome.
Just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. I would like to help, or just provide a certain contribution that I have heard from the presenters that the budget is not adequate, but also there are various challenges they face. I think now it is a time now for them to make sure that they seek people who can partner with them to make sure that now what they have done is going to be scaled up, or is going to be run jointly instead of remaining themselves, because even the fund itself is not adequate due to what have been started, and it was just a pilot. So with that, they can seek, or they can come with and sit with you and help them on how now they can identify whom they can participate to run and to run their campaigns and scale up such campaign with its positive outcome. That will be now a certain for example, Zanzibar's presentation from Yumna Manga and her fellows mentioned that the mentorship seems to be inadequate because of the 2-day trainings they have received. But they can pinpoint what actually the skills they still need to be aware of, and share with you, ADD. And ADD can ask if one of your collaborators, even as you can see how we can help to transform such kind of skills, and keep mentoring them, because we are all young. We want to empower ourselves, and we want to show the world that we are able, and we have the skills. And such skills is not only for us to be known that we have, but we have to make sure that they are transmitted actionably. That is a thing I can comment regarding the challenges they have pinpointed.
Thank you very much, Rajab, for your recommendation. And I think Eva and the Zanzibar group have heard it, and they will work on it, and especially on thinking on possibilities of working jointly with other peers or with organizations like yours, the Youth with Disability Organization based in mainland, and see how they can amplify their campaigns and projects to reach more people and young people with disability. We have another contribution from the chat box, and this is from Queen Mnyazi, where Queen said that it is through us that the other groups will learn to give chances to persons with disability, that we are capable of any task. that we are capable of any task. My advice to my fellow person with disability, once you get this opportunity, is to utilize it fully and make sure you have got impressive results out of all your projects. Through your good work will open more doors to persons with disability to get more funds through proof that, yes, we can. Bravo. Thank you very much, Queen Mnyazi. Maybe I'll take one more comment or contribution from the audience, and then I'll provide opportunity to Danny in case you have any announcement or information to share before we wind up this session. Nessie, you're welcome.
No, just because we're wrapping up, I just wanted to personally say what a pleasure it's been working with the young activists in Tanzania. I mean, your dedication and your energy and your commitment is amazing, and your persistence to keep pushing is really wonderful. And we are here to support you, but you are the leaders, and we are honored to be able to support you. And I just wanted to thank you.
Thank you very much, Nessie. Thank you very much for all who you participated in this session today. A huge thank you for your time and your comments and questions as well. And as I mentioned earlier, don't forget to contact us in case you need to support the young activists in any way. And also don't forget to follow Eva Joseph Masanilo in the YouTube account to listen to her new song. But also don't forget to follow up with us in other series of online knowledge exchange session, which will follow up next. And Dan has posted in the chat that our next session is on 22nd November at 3 p.m. EAT and 11 a.m. if I'm not mistaken for UK based. And the Alliance Accountability Toolkit and its applicability to youth disability advocates. Sorry, I'm having a challenge here. The Alliance Accountability Toolkit and its applicability youth disability advocates global alliance will be conducted. Thank you very much, and see you once you see us again. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.